Hey there folks, this is Ruben here for TechAttack.my, giving you a shootout of the Maps navigation, starting with on the left. This is we're going to use Google Maps navigation. This is running on, of course, Samsung Galaxy Nexus. That is running on Android 4.1.1 Jelly Bean. Google Maps navigation is not available here in Malaysia, but we can install it, no problem. Up here, Nokia Lumia 800, we're going to use Nokia Drive. It's worth pointing out that this too, it has separate apps. So on, I'm not sure if you can see it. Now on the Android phone, we have Google Maps, and then we have the navigation app separately. So is here in the Nokia Lumia 800. We have Nokia Drive and then Nokia Maps separately. But over here, this is Apple iPhone 5 running iOS 6, and we're going to test out Apple Maps. Apple Maps is an all-in-one thing, so we have maps as well as navigation once you put in your destination. It's an all-in-one affair. So now that we have all three launched, we're going to put it to the tests. Alright, be right back. Thanks for watching. Alright, so let's start with Google Maps navigation. Over here. Now if you notice, you have navigation, you have local, and you have latitude, and of course maps, but it's actually all one app. In the system folder is actually just one app, but it will show up as a few others. So when we jump into Google Maps navigation, it's a very straightforward, very simple app. Here, recent destination is a shortcut. You can speak your destination, go home. You have to preset it first. You can jump back to map because it's, well, because it's all one app anyway. You can type in your destination. Now, since this is not the official version of Google Maps navigation, so it doesn't work always. Especially if you type in your destination here, it doesn't work. So instead, we're gonna switch to Google Maps. And for this exercise, we're gonna go to Publica. It's actually Publica, but I like to call it Publica. So let me type in, and it shows up straight away, right? It auto completes and it shows up straight away. It goes to show how good Google Maps is, and it's still unrivaled to this date. But of course, it needs data connection, and if you don't have data, it won't work. So we're gonna pick the arrow. It will launch back Google Maps navigation. It already has my GPS locked. So now, the moment it detects the GPS, it will turn into a 3D mode. Now what I like about Google Maps navigation, you can view it in 3D, and you can also scroll around. And if you scroll too far, you can press this to jump right back. You can switch routes if you don't want that location. You can pick an alternative route like over here, this button. You can pick a longer one if you want, and just go back if you want to switch back to the suggested one. I will show you where the road is. And Google Maps, nice. In Kuala Lumpur, we have traffic information now, on major roads at least. So you can actually see the traffic. Red means traffic jam, green is no jam. But it's not as detailed as Waze, of course, because this is not crowdsourced. This is like from cameras. It will route the road name just like Apple Maps. So it's pretty funny when you reach like Jalan, it will say Jalan University instead of like Jalan. It will pronounce it in an American way. Okay, so alright, so moving on to Nokia Drive. So this is running on Lumia 800. Lumia, when you initially launch the first time, you will have to download a map. But once you've downloaded the map, it will jump straight to it when you launch it, of course. You can scroll it around just like Google Maps navigation. But one thing that really bugs me is if you're looking for parking like this one, you can tap on it and nothing happens. It will zoom in, but you cannot jump to a location. Like, let's say if you want to go to this road, when you long press on it, nothing happens. You cannot jump to it. Okay, so going back. So if you press the back, it will go back to the navigation mode, which is the same as the map mode, but this is not Nokia Maps, bear in mind, this is Nokia Drive. So now you're in GPS location. So the menu is very simple. We've did a full review of Nokia Drive before, so you can look that up in Tac Attack. So we're going to set destination now. We're going to go to the same place, which is Publica. And the brightness setting is off in this camera, so you can't really see when I'm typing. But just to give you an idea. So when it searches, it will oh, not this one. Yep. It will search online. So if it can't find internet connection, it will switch to offline mode. And in offline mode, it also has point of interest. It also has point of interest that you can look it up. As you can see, it doesn't have Publica here. It's not listed. Even though this is an online search, it will show up Solaris, public bang, you know, but Publica, it is a new place, but it's not showing up even online. That means it's not even showing up in Nokia Drive itself, the online version. Anyway, we're gonna go to Solaris because it's closer, the closest to Publica, and you can see it will jump to the overview mode of your distance and time left when you go start. Oh, I don't have a voice. We'll see how fast this one downloads. It's 4 megabytes. Yeah. So when you launch the first time, it will ask you to download a map. So we picked Malaysia, obviously, and it's about 100 megabytes, and which is fine. The audio is also small, 4 megabytes, and we pick English, of course, UK, because that's how we roll. It's gonna take a while to install. Now, what's funny is the installation of the map is slower than the download.
After 400 meters, turn right.
Nice. So it will immediately give you a voice feedback of when the destination starts. Google Maps doesn't really do that yet. You have to reach the turning before it will tell you what to do. And you can't really see the maps, but yeah, it's pretty nice. It's straightforward. It's offline. You can go offline and the maps will still work. During navigation, you can switch to 2D if you want, but we want 3D, obviously. It doesn't automatically switch to night mode. You have to manually press it. And it doesn't reorient itself to face north like we have in Google Maps navigation. So when you press back, it will go back to the navigation look with your speed. You can change that if you want. Actually, I think you can, but I forgot. This must be in the settings. Anyway, speed, time of arrival, settings, you can zoom in, zoom out. Navigation is... offline navigation is nice. Searching is not as good as Google Maps, even though if you're online. And one thing that really irks me is you cannot pick a location to jump to. You cannot drop a pin to navigate to that location. It has to be able to show, it has to be able to be in the results in order for you to navigate there. You can't just select a location manually, alright? Now moving on to the Apple Maps in just a bit. Alright, so moving right along, so this is Apple Maps. Now Apple Maps is a two-in-one affair, so we have the maps and the navigation all together in one. When you see it, it actually looks similar to Google Maps back in iOS 5. You have the flip out menu here, jump to location, you have bookmarks and destination. It's the same. So very straightforward and easy to use, which we like. Now to test though, when we type in Publica, it does not go to Publica. It goes to somewhere in, I believe it's in Banda Utama, Public Relations Sendirian Berhad. Anyway, we did a review, a how-to actually, of how to use Foursquare to for your to help out the poor map data that is in Apple Maps. So type in Publica. I've already done that. It will show up as a mall, 4.4 miles. That's what, 8 kilometers. So pick it. Get a result. Usually you will have the directions button right away. Otherwise, if not, just pick on the map and select the bubble that comes up. Otherwise, press on directions. Open in Maps, yes. It will jump to Apple Maps, and now it will think for a while, give you routes to pick from. We want to go this one, and when we press start,
starting route to Jalan Dudamas 1.
The nice thing is it
Head
will
northeast on Jalan 13/6.
Siri will immediately kick in and tell you what to do. Nokia Drive also, as we see earlier, but in Google Maps navigation, you have to reach a turning before it will speak to you. So this is Siri. Only when you're driving it will turn to 3D. Now it's in a 2D mode, so when you start driving the maps will turn to 3D for you to see that way. You can't scroll around like you can with both Drive and navigation, but you can tap on it once to bring up the overview button, which you can then scroll around. Zoom in if you want, jump back to location, switch to 3D, and resume the navigation. And since it's integrated, so you can even ask Siri like this. Are we there yet? Thinking and thinking.
You should be there in about 14 minutes.
So there. So voice integration with Apple Maps is obviously the best among the three. And there you have it. I'm gonna do a drive now to Publica itself and see which one is the best, and which one warns you to turn first, which one actually gives you the best route there. And hopefully I don't get lost. I'll be right back. Alright, so we're back to the office, actually in the parking lot. Went to Publica fine, came back, did not get lost. But here is what I found out. All three voice navigation will let you know when to turn, and immediately after you turn it will tell you when is the next turn, like how many more meters until your next turn. All three does that, but I find that Siri is the chattiest among of all. The frequency of the voice guidance, it's more frequent compared to, and then second is Nokia Drive, and the least voice guidance you will get is from Google Maps navigation. Okay, rerouting. It all depends on the road, right? So in Apple Maps, sometimes even in the housing area, the road will show up as like a highway type of road. So even though if it's just a small road that you can make a U-turn because it's a housing area, it will ask you to. It won't ask you to U-turn immediately, but instead to go to a traffic light or somewhere further in front. So rerouting, the map data plays a lot in rerouting, how good the rerouting is. And so far I find that rerouting is the best rerouting is for Google Maps navigation. Every time you did not take the route suggested, it will reroute accordingly. This is the best. Actually, Apple Map is the second best, as I found out, if the map is accurate. If the map is not, then it's not. Nokia Drive, it will always bring you to the shortest route. So for example, if you want to go from point A to point B, and there is a shorter way and that is a longer way, but the longer way turns out to be a highway, Google Maps will always, the priority at least, it will ask you to use the highway instead of the small road. Apple Maps does the same if the data is accurate, but Nokia Drive, it will always pick the shortest route. So even though the shortest route is a smaller road, and you might end up driving longer compared to using the highway, it will ask you to use the shortest route. GPS. So now we're in the garage, so there's no GPS signal. So this is one of the tests that I'm doing. Google Maps is the most straightforward. Immediately when there's no GPS, it will tell you. Nokia Drive and Apple Maps, obviously not. It will, reassure you. Okay, we're fine. There's no GPS, but that's fine. But the most straightforward, the most honest at least, is Google Maps. Offline still goes to Nokia Drive, of course. The most data efficient is obviously this one, right? When you're using data. But when you're offline, Nokia Drive is the best. The most accurate map data, of course, is Google Maps, and that's pretty much it. So if we were to split to a category, I would say search. So search, Google Maps win, obviously. Talking about offline data, Nokia Drive wins. And when you talk about like the best voice integration, Siri wins, of course. I mean, the Apple Maps with Siri integration wins because it's the chattiest. It will always tell you where to turn. You don't have to look at the screen all the time. And it uses data, but it is also the most data efficient if you're using data. But when you're outside in a location that does not have data, this one wins. So offline wins, search, this one wins, and voice integration is won by this one, Apple Maps. Also, integration in general, Apple Maps is the one of the best, because when you close out of it, it's still running. And it's one of the best because for Android devices, you can also jump back to the navigation, which is over here. But not so much on the Windows Phone side. When you exit out of it, you can jump back, but if it's too long, if you close out the app for too long, it won't resume. It will relaunch itself from scratch. But you can resume for both of this. So Apple Maps, you can tap on it and jump back. So you can actually exit and use other apps to help you out, like Waze, for Apple Maps at least. And this one, you don't really need Waze anymore because there's traffic data included, like that. And there you have it. So that's the shootout. There is no clear winner here, actually, because we've divided it into 3 categories: voice, offline, and search. So search wins by Google again, and Apple Maps wins for voice, and Nokia Drive wins for offline navigation. So I guess that's it. If there's anything else extra to add, we will add it in the text review later, and with some pictures. And yeah, thanks for watching. This is Ruben here, signing out.